Welcome everybody to the Castlevania commentary video featuring Mr. Castlevania himself, I Got Kings. Welcome, Mr. King.
Thank you, Majora T. Don't give me that much credit. I love Castlevania, but I don't think I'm Mr. Castlevania. I think that falls to you, sir, for this
God,
so far.
You can't give me that title either. I don't deserve that.
No, you beat this. No, I love Castlevania, but you beat this game in almost under 30 minutes. We'll get to that, and I think you're getting a love to the series, which I love to see. And this game and this games in the series, especially on the NES, hold up still. I think we can talk about it. We can agree to that this game still holds up for coming out in '86 and amazing what it did.
Oh my God, maybe one of the best games. Period. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. For NES, for that time it came out, and to still hold up today and be playable and be finding improvements every time you play it and be engrossed in it. Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, I don't know, and that's so weird. I didn't grow up in this time, which is why I invited you, Mr. NES. I think that's a better title for you.
I'll take that, sure. Thank you. I like that.
Awesome. So welcome, I Got Kings, and of course this is my first commentary video ever, so thank you for joining me for this. And ladies and gentlemen at home, go check out this fine young man. Even though he grew up with the NES, he's that young. He's of that
Thank you.
That young age. And he does streaming on Twitch, and he posts his VODs and also games beat like every trimester. I don't know, is that a baby term?
That's a good, whenever I get enough going. It used to be every month, now it's about whenever I get about 10 or so games.
Well, you can check him out on YouTube. I'll have links in the description below. And so we're going to talk about Castlevania for NES. We have some gameplay going. Subscribe to I Got King. Subscribe to me, Majora T, for more commentary videos. And let's talk about Castlevania. I Got Kings, what do you want to talk about when it comes to Castlevania NES 1986?
Sure. This was one of the first NES games I had. I had this, and I had Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, Kung Fu, Castlevania, and Super Mario Brothers 2. And this is a game that I could never beat for the longest time, but I loved it. My sister's boyfriend at the time is, we'll call him Brooke because that was his first name. We won't have to go to his last name. He was so good at this game, he could flip the score on multiple loops, so the score would come back to 0. And I always thought he was the coolest thing, and I still razz my sister about not staying with Brooke.
That's Mr. Castlevania right there.
Yeah.
Brooke.
But yeah, this is a game that always stayed with me, and I didn't beat it until I was probably in high school, even though I had it when I was in grade school.
What was it like playing in grade school?
Amazing, because coming from the Atari, the first game that really blew my mind was Super Mario Brothers 2, and Contra, and then this game, and Mario 1 were the first early games I really played. And this game, out of all of them, probably Mario 2 is close, but this game was probably the one that gave me the most feeling of, man, this is kind of spooky. Not spooky, but very there's a theme to it that really gets under your skin for being such a not jolly, but the music's so upbeat and so prog rocky. The music stuck with me, and just the whole theme with the horror. I mean, I wasn't really into horror, but I knew the tropes, like the Dracula and stuff like that, and that's what always really stuck with me. It just stuck with me. The theme and just the play control, and it was different than Mario. You had weapons, you had these cool themed levels, and there was just so many secrets, it seemed like that you could find. There's hidden treasures that you can find in the game that, in the first stage, if you jump past the opening of the door, there's a treasure chest that appears, or not a treasure chest, a bag. And there's all throughout the levels, there's little areas where you go up and down stairs and maybe a treasure will appear. And finding all those is the game within itself. The game has multiple loops. I never figured out until I was probably the internet age that this game had a multiple loop. But what I mean by loop is once you beat the game, it'll restart and the game will be a little bit harder, and it keeps your score in life, so you can try to get better and keep that score going and keep that run going.
My score in life?
Well, if you're playing Castlevania when you're in grade school, you're winning at life.
There you go. Yeah, you're getting a high score already.
Yeah, that beats like whatever class you had in grade school. I can't even remember what I had. But when this came out, I would have been. I got
Perfect
this in
attendance.
88, 89. Yeah,
My
yeah.
mom made
What
me
was I
go to
doing?
school. I would rather
Yeah,
be
yeah.
playing Castlevania.
Yeah, keep the NES on, but make sure it doesn't get turned off. So you can come home and play it again
Yeah.
where
there
you
you
left
go.
off.
Well, okay. Do you remember your first time beating Castlevania?
I don't, unfortunately.
Uh,
I think it would probably have been about in high school, but I can't remember the exact time.
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. That's fine. I don't know if I remember fully my first time beating Ocarina of Time, but that game is so impactful to
Yeah.
me still. It was
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
like way later too, I didn't have the guidebook for it. I probably beat Majora's Mask before I beat Ocarina.
Yeah, like I mean, it's possible I didn't beat this game until I was my 20s because back when I was in grade school, I had NES games, but I rarely beat them. I think I beat Mario 2 and Chip and Dale, and that was probably it. I just play them because they were games, and my alternative was to, go outside and walk in the woods and swing a stick around and hit trees.
You could do that only for so
about it.
long, and only while the
I mean,
days
that's
out,
fun. I mean, yeah, I like that a lot. And I mean, I'd play with my cousins and stuff, maybe go swimming at their pool when they had a pool. But I mean, video games were my number one thing to do once I got an NES. And Castlevania, I just wanted to play other games. I rarely beat them. So a lot of those games, I can't remember the first time I beat them because I probably didn't beat them until I was in my 20s, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to say about the same, maybe 17, 18, but I doubt it. If I didn't have a Prima book or if the game wasn't easy, I'd probably be Mario 64. So it's always the Marios,
Yeah.
right? Like, those are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the NES, especially for me, I don't remember beating those games because when you're younger, your time is like so flittery. You want to do one thing, do another. I play it for like an hour and get tired and play something else. But Super Nintendo N64, I can remember more when I beat games on that generation because I would have been 10, 11. My peak NES eras were 88 to 91. So that's a short time. I would have been 10 through 12. So that was a long time ago, and I really wasn't. My goal when I was playing games was not to beat them. I should say that would sum up the whole thing. It was not to beat them. It was like to have fun.
Yeah,
which
to
I think is a
experience
good.
them.
I think that's a good way to experience games now as I get older. It's not exactly to beat them. It's to find something you like to play, and if you're enjoying it, take your time and get good at it. And if you want to get good at it, eventually you'll beat it.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of saying about Castlevania Aria of Sorrows. Like, I will play that soon. And I did play Harmony of Dissonance, but it does the Symphony of the Night thing. Spoiler alert, it flips the castle. And at that point, I was like, I think I've had enough. And that's fine. But Aria looks real special. And, like, I kind of want to, just soak it in. I don't want to just rush to say I stamp my games beat, for the year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want to do because you don't want to make it a chore. You want to play something, you're enjoying. If I play something and I'm not enjoying it, and maybe it's not enjoying it, it's not feeling it. Because there's certain games I want to play, but if you put it in and you play it and you're not so much enjoying it but not feeling it, then I just don't want to stick with it. I want to give the game the respect it deserves and not say, oh, well, this sucks. Well, it might not suck. It just might be I'm not up for that.
Well,
I want to come back
has to kind of earn respect too, right? Like, I play plenty of games and I finish it. I'm like, what was that? Like, that just feels like any other, like, Donkey Kong Country, Like, I kind of drop more games now if I'm not, like, interested. Because, like, why use my time? My time is so precious right now.
Exactly, and especially as one gets older, you realize how finite time is, and you should be doing something you enjoy, even if it's not enjoying it. If it's something you're enjoying the challenge, or there's something about the game that's hooking you, and you're getting some enjoyment out of it, stick with it.
If I just feel something, like I was feeling pissed off at Super Mario Kart last night.
I know,
but I felt it, and I do want to finish it. So I think having that want is important, whatever that manifests as.
Yeah,
I watch that guy who does like, I beat all the 64 games. You can tell he's experiencing something, whether he likes it or not. You know, StarCraft 64, Jesus. But
yeah, I mean, beating a whole console's library sounds like torture to me. There's so many bad games on popular systems that you just don't want to play. That would be miserable.
Torture, but an experience nonetheless.
Yeah,
And
maybe unenjoyable. Because when you're playing the good games, oh, this is great, but then you got to play, you know, some bad stuff, and it's not too fun.
Mm-hmm. My gameplay is like freezing. Is yours?
It is. It's like chugging up. We're on the aqueduct stage at the top of the castle. It's like stuck on the bone dragon. Now we're at the mummies.
There's the mummies. There they are.
Yeah.
I brought the.
So I see here you're doing the holy water. Yeah, it's good. So I always like to get these guys like you're doing here, get them on one side of the screen and just start going to town on them. Because if they're between you, it makes it a lot harder to manage your time hitting them.
Mm-hmm.
So I always like even take a hit to get them on one side so I can just start going to town on them.
This is when I can manage with the knife if I need to. I'd rather not. And it's really tricky to bring the holy water there because what are those dinosaur totems called? I don't know. Do you know?
I call them bone dragons or bone totem. I guess bone dragons are the guys on the wall, but I call them like just dragon bones or whatever.
Dragon bones. Those guys.
Whatever. I don't.
There's some trolley game design here where they put it right before the bridge, and then as soon as you jump over the bridge, it fires at you and then knocks you off. So I've had to be very deliberate lately with
Yeah, this part right here, this level this is the part of the game where I start to feel like, oh, I might die here, because I still sometimes die on this bridge run here.
That one damn bat. You have to get it.
Yeah.
You have to jump
over it.
There's a
bat, there's bats here. And on the second loop, they come faster.
Oh my god, I did a little bit of second loop. I'm not doing second loop.
You can do it eventually. So I think it took me over an hour and 45 minutes to do the second loop. And so if you can beat the first loop that fast, you should be able to beat the second. Oh, good stopwatch there. This part coming up right here, when you ride the long path across. I think it's coming up once this big drop here, if I'm thinking right.
Yeah, it'll
This
be there.
part always gets me. There's always a bat or a merman that hits me in the water sometimes.
And
so this jump right here, you got it.
If you don't crouch and then the bat comes, you have to attack it.
Yeah.
The drop here.
Yeah, that district. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
You can't jump into that. So that's really tricky.
No.
But one
you
thing
gotta,
that
like,
I want to say about this is like, and just Castlevania NES in general is like, we were talking about time. You know, I think it respects your time. Like, it doesn't restart you at the beginning of the game. It doesn't give you limited credits. You could just start the same stage from where you were. There's checkpoints, so if you're on the same credit, it's fine. And I don't know. I feel like I can keep practicing this until I get better. When I was not good at this stage, and I'm so sorry for the chop video, everybody. I got to watch this a little better next time. If you're, like, really struggling with, like, a stage, you know, like I was at one point, you could just play it over and over and over and get the strategies, make it a little bit further.
So right there you got a good pattern with when you went there was no flea men jumping up. You were able to walk on the ledge, and there was one bat you had to take care of, but that gave you a good RNG, as they say.
One trick I learned from you, and the reason I'm throwing holy waters at candles, is the multiplier trick. Can you talk to the viewers about that?
Yeah, so in this game, every 10th enemy or item or a candle you beat gives you a multiplier. And the multiplier, I think it's 10th, it might be more or less, I forget. But the multiplier allows you to throw 2 weapons out at the same time for the 2 multiplier, or 3 out at the same time with the 3. And basically how Castlevania weapons work is you can throw one item, and until it's off the screen, where the holy water stops, you cannot throw another one. But with the multipliers, it allows you to throw multiples of them, 2 on the screen or 3 on the screen, and that's the trick to beating some of the bosses very, very quickly.
Yeah, like I just did it there. So you can't just whip the candle and it appears. That's very rare. But if you throw the sub item into the candle, it will. Like at every 5th or 10th or whatever, it will appear.
Yeah.
And it's so huge. Holy water especially is like super OP in this game. I used it for majority of this run. What's your experience with holy water in NES Castlevania?
NES Castlevania, I love it a lot. Between NES, between most of the 2D Castlevanias, I go between the Holy Water and the Cross, with the Cross being the most useful for me. Except on Castlevania 1, I go for Holy Water, for one boss in particular, which we'll get to in about 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
But here's something I've never done on the Frankenstein monster. You stun lock them with the holy water, and we're able to whip them between the stun locks. And with that triple shot there, that allows him to never get out of that stun lock state, because he's just constantly getting fire stun locked from the burning of the holy water. So that was a very good Frankenstein's monster fight.
Yeah, but you really do need that multiplier in order to pull that off. Otherwise, you're not going to throw them in time. I guess you could manage with, throwing like Holy Water Whip, but the timing is so much worse.
The problem with that is once that Quasimodo Flea Man gets out, he's the real problem of the fight. He'll spit a little fireball at you and jump around unpredictably like this guy is doing. So you really want to get him away, or at least stun lock, so once he's away and out of your problem, you can just whip Frankenstein to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just such a easier fight with it. Without it, like you said, the Fleeman is just doing too much.
Yeah, he's the problem. Yeah, but that was a good job
shooter,
there. Yeah, and this jerk here. There's always a Castlevania skeleton out of reach.
Hey, but the trick with these guys on the top level is they throw their bone up, and one of them won't come back down. So if you can time that, you don't actually you can get up the stairs without getting hit. So I kind of watch out for that.
That's good, yeah. So there are treasures in this game that you can get, but I haven't found them all. I would like to find all the treasures. So what I mean is, when you jump past a certain point or go up a stairs and go down, a treasure chest will appear, and it's the if you want to go for high score, it's the easiest way to get that. But I never go for high score, so when I play this game, I play to beat it, and then I'm good.
Yeah. I've been going for time lately, it's such a quickie, when I think it's just there's such a finesse to playing, like mistakes really feel like they're yours. They don't really feel like the game being cheap after a while. Initially it does feel like it's cheap, but when you learn the game, it's kind of your fault for kind of messing up at some points. I'm very curious to see how a no death run goes. Like I would like to try that. Of course, the Dracula fight, I'm going to have to get that down a little better. And
you'll get there.
Stage 6, I need to learn some strategies for the bridge. Maybe you can talk to us about that in general. Do you have any
with the big bats?
Yeah, the big bats and the like 3 imp drops. It's too much for me. But there is a stopwatch before there. I've been trying to get
the imp drops in the courtyard where where the seagulls drop the little imp in? Okay. Yeah, this stage doesn't give me much trouble now, but it used to. The one that still gives me trouble sometimes is the stage that we were talking about in the underground when you fight Frankenstein, and the stage with the bats on the bridge. If they spawn, you got to kind of run there. We'll talk about it when we get there. But this part coming up. We'll discuss a little bit more. The hall towards the Grim Reaper, we'll discuss some things once we get there. I want to see what you do here.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree. The game is very fair. In any game with unlimited continues, you can't really say, you can say it's hard and challenging, but it's only over when you decide it to be over. If they give you unlimited continues, it's up to you to continue or not. And if you're having fun, eventually, even if you're the most stubborn person, you'll start learning the levels, and you like it or not, you'll start getting better at the game. And when you do that, you start making improvement. It's very gratifying.
Yeah, definitely. It does feel like an accomplishment by the time that you finish. Here's our bridge, or whatever bridge you want to call this, the entrance to the Reaper. So I'm definitely exploiting the holy water trick. I don't even need the multiplier. The Medusa heads, there is a rhythm to them if you kind of see it. The ones that are lower, you can jump over and then just chuck a holy water and it'll take care of the axe knight. The problem is the axe knights if you don't have holy water, because those axes can mess you up. Here's the Grim Reaper fight. Jump, holy water, holy water, holy water, all the way to the end. And it's just easy. Yep.
Now, this only works when you have triple shot. If you have one shot, he can get out of that pattern and start throwing his stuff. I think 2 shots you can still stun him, but not as much. But 3 shots you just can't do anything. And that path up to the Grim Reaper, I usually don't worry about the Medusas because you can run under them. I try to stay on the ground, and I worry about the Axe Knights. I watch his position on if he's up, he's going to throw it high. If he's low, he's going to throw it low. I watch him, and I concentrate on him because I know the Medusas are going to come in an arc, and you can have the timing when they're going to come. And that kind of negates them. If you can just the Axe Knights, like you said, are the big problem. And here we're getting to this
what it is. I want to talk about the Medusa heads for a second.
That's good there.
If you just stay stationary and then you duck, I think you can also avoid them.
Oh, I never tried that. Oh, jeez, yeah. See, these bats right here, I usually just book it like you were doing. You did a good stun lock with one of them there where he got stunned and he stopped chasing you. This part I always just run, and depending on the bats where they're at, they can mess you up. Like this guy's gonna swoop down. You stunned him there, so he didn't. This guy right there, he can be a problem there. You stunned him the one time and he didn't, but if he swoops up like that, he'll knock you in the pit. So it's all about. I still don't know how to do this one without dying sometimes.
It's not perfect, and usually people hit the first bat. I guess you could throw an axe here. There's a jump pattern. If you jump a little later, you can get the corner of the bridge before it becomes, a pit. But it's just so risky. So I don't love doing that. And I hate that you can't really... I mean, maybe you can kill them. I'm not sure. I haven't tried, but these guys are like the first boss. How many hits are they going to take?
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, see, that one right there, I always... See, I get into... the first one's okay, but the second one, depending on where he's at, he always gets me sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. The trick is to just kind of, do nothing. Just run.
Just keep book it. If you get past this guy, right there, you got him, because you hit him with something. And now you're pretty good. This one, now you got the time stopper, so.
Yeah, it's the first lantern in the set of 3, and that's huge for finishing the rest of this and getting through the rest of the stage. And then there's a heart replenish here as well, right before you come in. So that'll give you another free stopwatch. But I fall to my death because I doesn't.
I was like, oh god, yeah. That was good. So here we go. We got that guy. He can be a problem if you let him start chucking at you.
My trick is to just hide in the door, and then he'll come to you, and then you get a free attack.
Ah. So now we come up to more skeletons. Oh, that nice backwards jump there.
Thank you.
This guy, you're luring him over there so you can climb the stairs.
Yep,
Hopefully,
and also you can pay attention to the... You can always, if you want to be safe, just do the jump attack if you have the long whip. But if not, then you can pay attention for the bones that disappear. I always take a hit here for some reason.
So there's a meat chop over in that wall over there.
Oh, yeah, in the corner, but you'd have to jump down.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about this, but I guess you could attack the bird before it comes to you on the mid-platform there.
Yeah, I know if I'm going to do this part if I get down there and I get hit maybe once, and then I just tank the damage up to the top. Because then I have enough to get once I get to that lower part, I just start running up there, and if the bird hits me while I'm on the stairs, I'm fine. Yeah. As long as I don't go careening off a cliff.
Because it's not worth it to stop. Here, you could take 3 hits from imps, so it's manageable.
Yeah. Yeah, if they start building up like this, so yeah, you're just booking it because what else are you gonna? Oh. There you go. Nice, you got it.
Right, and that's kind of my strategy is to just tank it all the way.
Yeah. That's what I do too.
And then at this point, whatever, get the health.
So you died there to get 3 lives.
The lives are not as relevant as the full health part because you're gonna restart at Dracula's castle every time. So once you're there, you're safe. That's kind of my strategy.
That's right. They checkpoint you here.
And now this is where
I was thinking of 3. Yeah, they don't checkpoint you there.
This is a lot. So there's a trick here. If you throw the boomerang from the window and jump, you can get 4 hits in. Otherwise, it's usually just 1 if you don't throw the boomerang.
Ah, see, I never bother with the boomerang. So the way I do it is when he raises his arm to open his cape, I jump towards him, and then I hit his head once, and I do that each time.
I mess with that strategy if I'm far enough. Otherwise, I stay close to the body, and then as the he's just about to open his cape, I jump for the head hit, and then he'll fire up, and then I can kind of crouch or whip and attack his fireballs.
See, I always just time my jump, so I jump over his fireballs, and while I'm in air, I hit him and land over the fireballs.
I think yours is safer. However, it's less
It's slower.
accurate. Like oftentimes it'll miss, and then I like to just stack damage with the boomerang.
Yeah, you're doing this a lot. Yeah, mine's safer because I always take my.
See, I can get 3 hits in.
Yeah, I like that.
You know,
That's
why would
yeah,
I?
you're getting a lot more hits than I ever. Like, it takes me a long time to beat this guy.
See, that's your strategy is jump over the attacks, which I like implementing, but it's just a little risky for when I do it the other way. And then doing this with boomerang, I don't know, and I'm down on hearts, so that's rough. That's the only risk or downside is having no hearts by this point.
Oh yeah, and right there, you got to time your run right when he jumps, or you're gonna get hit like that. It's a tricky timing.
He has a big jump. He has a high jump, but he just
he has a high and a low. Usually when he's around, when you're getting pinned to the edge of the screen, is when I run under him, because his last jump before the edge of the screen is going to be a high.
And they call him like the curse of man. Do you know what that's about?
I've heard that they call him. I don't know what it's about, but I heard that reference before. I looked it up, but I don't remember what it was about. Sorry.
That's all right. But this is, I think this is a really good final boss fight. And kind of a climactic ending to this game, because I mean, you get the horror, as you were saying earlier, but it's also kind of goofy. So it's like some weird.
And this shot here with the stairs is iconic in NES games. Climbing up, it's reused in Castlevania 3. All the 2D Castlevanias with that stairway with the moon is just, when you get to it in a Castlevania game, like, oh yeah, it's gonna get. Now we're at the final boss.
And in Castlevania 64 as well. Definitely like top.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Which that's a game, I only beat the bad ending. I can never get through it in time to get the good ending.
Oh, I don't know if I'll ever do that.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 hours, right?
If you know what to do, but it takes me probably 10 hours to beat that game.
Probably same. I do want to play Legacy of Darkness this year. So that's on the back burner.
That game's I played that game is basically a remake or add-on to improvement to the first Castlevania 64.
Which is what I hear. It's also like double the game, I think.
Yeah, they added a character. There's like a ship part. You start as a werewolf called Cornell, and then you beat him, and you can play as like the guy from the first 64.
Reinhardt, yeah.
Reinhard Schneider, yeah.
I was reading about
that's a game that.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, that's a game that I enjoy. For N64 game, it's cool that they did something a little different. I mean, it doesn't feel a lot like Castlevania, but that's the 2D Castlevania I'm comparing it to. I don't think the Metroidvanias ones feel a lot like in my mind, they don't feel a lot like Castlevania. Castlevania to me is this, so I can't really hold the 64 ones about not feeling like Castlevania.
Right.
Yeah. I think 64, it's a cool experience if you play it. It's like an adventure game. I think it starts off slow though. The first few levels are not like, what do I do? Getting used to the controls, jumping to hit those switches is kind of draggy. But if you get through there, I find it enjoyable.
Yeah, it's an adventure game. It's like halfway to Ocarina. It's not quite there, but I appreciate it for being a different kind of take on 3D adventure.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here.
So many bad attempts from my part. I really should just do your strategy of just jumping.
No, you're getting a lot of hits in. Though that's what I'm saying. I never actually. It's cool to see this. I've never actually seen it done with this many hits. I always just play it safe.
And
but if you play it safe,
you don't. When I'm doing your attempt, yeah, and it takes longer, but you're probably better off at getting him to final phase. My problem too is spawn hits when he just spawns over you and you can't get away.
That's why you're running around. I do the same thing. I run back and forth to kind of attempt to have enough momentum or whatever to when he. So there's another thing you can do with the holy water. You can run through him while he's stunned. You won't take damage.
Oh, that's a good tip.
I didn't even know about that until the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you're not going to try that because
No.
if I run into something, I'm going to get hit. You know.
Even that's a risk. You have to make that split-second decision. There's a lot of that in this fight between the Dracula and Curse of Man. Just making split-second decisions. Even just getting him to Curse of Man phase is like, okay, I got this. I have a shot here. But otherwise, in the Dracula bit, it's like, okay, I'm going to go through the phase. I'm going to go through the part 1 again.
It's amazing seeing you get up here. I think you've played Dracula longer than you played most of the game right now. So if you can beat Dracula in 1 attempt, or even 2, you get under 20. You probably get to like 20 some minutes.
Oh,
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, my timer was at 17 by the time I got here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then I think if I just played it safe with like your jump over strategy, like there's that, right? Like that's pretty consistent at avoiding the damage. The problem is ensuring that you are far enough away to do that.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing I want to say. I got to make sure because you know the arc of your jump in Castlevania once you get to it. That's the thing about it that's so great is you know where you're going to land when you jump unless something hits you. But you can kind of tell when you play it how far back you need to be to hit them and jump over the fireballs.
Yeah, it's probably best to stay away from the corners because he will trap you, and you basically have to take the hit if you're like really hugged in the corner there. So I think kind of hopping back and forth in the middle is a decent strategy, and then throwing the boomerang with enough like I don't know screen length to potentially hit him because you can't guarantee where he's gonna start. Some people know like from the frames. I just don't.
No, I don't know that either. I just kind of, like you do, I kind of run around in the middle and hope he spawns far enough away that I can get my distance.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, if he spawns on top of you, that can be tricky. I stay away from the corners, like you say, because if you're in the corner, it's hard to...
Yeah, I think you have to factor in like 1 or 2 hits from Dracula because Curse of Man, I also am going to take a hit. Like he just is so bulky and those jumps, he will eventually corner you in the screen unless you know to do the holy water trick. So I really try and reserve my health for that fight.
Yeah.
See? Hugged in.
See right there. That's a good example of right in the corner. That's why you kind of stay in the middle. I try to.
But I think
because if you're in the corner and he spawns right there,
it's such a good closing fight. Like compare this to Bowser, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is like. Plus, you get a second form. I can't imagine. I would have liked to have seen my face the first time I beat this guy. And if I had a camera when I first beat this game or got here and didn't beat it and saw a second form of this, I wish I would remember how I felt. Like, oh, I beat him, and oh no, there's a huge Curse of Man.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
I don't think
because it only takes damage in the head. You got I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh,
that's so close.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, he had him. Just 2 more stuns, I think. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only part of him that takes damage is his head.
Correct. Yeah, you can't just whip from the ground, so that's why I'm jumping like a madman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to say about Simon, I was reading about this. He's like a reference to, like, he was originally called Peter or something. Do you know about that?
Oh, I know he's called Ralph, and I'm thinking of Trevor. No, I didn't know he was Simon. It's called Peter. But Trevor was called Ralph Belmondo or something.
He was the son of Japan. Like Christopher something, and it's a reference to Christopher Lee, but I don't know what that's from. Like, is that like from a movie or something?
Well, when you beat the game in the end, all I know is at the ending they have puns with famous horror actors. Like Christopher Lee is Christopher B. Boris Karloff instead of Boris Karloff. Because James Banana is the composer. Because at the time, to avoid poaching the talent of video game developers, they would not list their names in the credits, so they would go by pseudonyms. So that's why you see a lot of those funny names, and they just decided to make puns on horror. But I don't know why he was called Peter, to answer your question. I never heard that before. Okay, you're doing good. There you go. Yeah, that's what I usually do there.
Yeah, that was a mix of your strategy and mine too. I did the long jump with the boomerang. But the only risk is having not enough hearts with holy water for the final phase.
Yeah, but you can go up and down the steps and get hearts. They respawn. So I usually go up and down the steps a few times.
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Until I get about 40 or 50.
I've been managing with the amount that you get. Like, this feels like a pretty safe run for me, even with, like, the 2 left here. Because I'm about to get...
Yeah, people who are... Oh, you're going for it.
Dang, I don't... Yeah, I might have made it. We'll see.
I think you made it. I think you got him this time. I think this is it.
That's the long jump.
Yeah.
Get
so the long jump, when he's...
Uh,
Nice. There you go. So that, like I said, like you can definitely get under 30 minutes because that was the longest part of the game right there on one section right there, that Dracula fight.
Yeah, definitely. And this went faster than the previous run. When I was doing the sub-hour, I think it took me like 30 minutes between stage 6 and all of stage 6.
Yeah. Because he breezed through Frankenstein's monster. You got the death pretty good. And those are the 2 other bosses that I have trouble with. So if you, like the bat and the bat's no problem. The mummies can be tricky, but if you get them on the left side or right side, you can just... Plus there's meat there in the left of the mummies you can take advantage of if you want. On the one block, there's some pork chops there on the left side. So that helps too. But yeah, that was good. That was a good run.
Yeah.
And here you go.
I guess I
Love
could see...
Faney Jr.?
I could kind of see... Dracula as Christopher Lee. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Green Stranger.
Unfortunately, I cut these credits off because I was so excited about the 33 minutes. But
oh, okay, okay.
There are a few good ones in there. Simon Belmondo. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I met the composer of Castlevania at MagFest, and she signed my copy, my original NES copy.
Whoa.
So that's pretty cool.
Nice. You knew she was coming?
Yeah, I went there. I saw her and Yuzo Koshiro signed my Actraiser, and Noboru Uematsu signed my Final Fantasy 2 and 3.
Awesome. What do you... So, would you want another Classicvania?
Oh, yes. The closest we got was Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 1 and 2, and those are great games. They have a feel of Castlevania 3 with the multiple characters, and those are awesome. I love those games. I almost consider them Castlevania games, Bloodstained 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They're in my mind, but yes, I would like a classic Castlevania, but keep it in the same... Don't do Metroid elements where you get items and get level up. Just keep it classic, simple, side-scrolling. You don't have to do anything to it. I just want it to be like this, maybe with some newer graphics. It doesn't even have to be newer graphics. It could be still 8 and 16-bit, but if it has to be newer graphics, which it would be, just keep it to this same formula, and I'll be happy. Maybe bring back the directional whip of Castlevania 4. That was cool to have.
I would say there's no shot, but I think what challenges me on that is like all the re-releases lately and just the access to the classic titles. It's not like Konami's completely ignored this series. Like the fact that I have Anniversary Collection on multiple consoles, that I have the Game Boy Advance games, and I can get the Nintendo DS Collection. And then there is the Bloodstained, titles. I think that like there's a shot that they could do something or give it to some indie company.
It's at least in their mind if they're doing this. They gave it to the that game that's real popular. The game where you're not shooting, you just run around and it shoots automatically. It's really popular. And there's all these enemies. They gave some downloadable content to that game. I forget what it's called by now. It's like a top-down shooter. And they did Castlevania stuff in that, so it's in their mind. So I think it's possible. I think that this you're playing on the Anniversary Collection. That is a good value. It's sometimes for $10, and for $10, that's a heck of a value. If you haven't played these games, for $10, even if you don't like all the games, I think it's worth it just for one game that you like in that collection.
Dude, I'd spend full price on this. I bought this thing multiple times, and at the digital, purchase rate. So that's pure profit for them.
Oh, yeah. And it's like a great way to play because you can practice with save states. I didn't have save states to practice when I was a kid, maybe a Game Genie, but that enables you to practice the games until you feel like running them without save states. Because
I mean,
eventually you
why
will.
I'm where I am now. You know, if I didn't,
Yeah.
I may or may not have played this all the way through. So.
Yeah, because the way no, you're doing great, and using save states, that's the way I like using save states, is to practice, because it can be a tool or a crutch for you. You can over abuse it or use it to help you. So I try to use it to help me in like games, to save a state, to not waste my time to practice, because a lot of these games, they're short, but if you're not good at them, you have to redo all the stages you are good at to get to the one to few times you can practice on the stages you aren't. Save states allow you to save at that point you're not good at and keep replaying that part until you get good at it, and then go run through the game and beat that part.
I do wish this game had like a stage select cheat, though. It might, maybe you know it, but I think that would be
no, not that I know of. No. Yeah, it's such a short game that I don't think they even thought to put it in. People who were playing this game probably got so dang good at it that they didn't need a stage select. The testers probably got so good at it that they didn't even need a stage select, I would think.
Sure.
But a lot of those games with stage selects, they were probably put in by the testers, who said, hey, I'm having trouble testing this game. I can't get to this level and practice enough. Okay, well, here you go. Here's a stage select.
So what do you think is the best Castlevania game?
Oh, God. I can't. It's usually the one I'm playing at the time. That's the same with Mario and Zelda. It's hard. That's okay. I don't consider it Castlevania I like the most, but I enjoyed it. No, it wouldn't be my favorite. But if it's your favorite,
it's not.
Sure. No, I know it's not yours, but I'm talking to the viewer, the home viewer.
Oh, okay.
I'd say my favorite's probably 3 still.
Why?
And that could be because I recently played it again.
Oh, I see.
It's still replayable. I mean, this game is still replayable, but that game is replayable in multiple ways. Where this is, you can replay it to get better time, like you can, or you can replay it to get all the treasures, or you can replay it to not use weapons or use a whip-only run, leather whip-only run I've seen done. So there's so many ways you can play it. In Castlevania 3, you can do that, but there's also multiple paths you can do. So if you want to go through the game with just Trevor on the upper path or the lower path, you can do that. If you want to play through it with just Alucard, or just Sypha, or just Grant Dynasty, you can do that. If you want to play it without any weapons, you can do that. It's just so replayable. It's a much longer, more difficult game. A lot of that was because the North American market made it more difficult. But Castlevania 3, for that reason, I think it just takes this formula and maybe not. To me, it maybe not improves depending on if you like this shorter experience, but it enhances it if you want a more longer, beefier, more variable way to play experience.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that thinking, just the replay value. And I also understand Castlevania at the time, because when I had Bloodlines, I was like, oh, this is the greatest game ever. And then it took some time, but I did learn to appreciate the one Super Castlevania 4. And I don't think it's as visually impressive as Bloodlines, but I think in every other department, it's probably better. And then,
you don't think Super Castlevania is as good looking as Bloodlines?
No.
See, that's interesting. I always see people say Bloodlines looks weird. I don't think it looks weird, but I always see that. I never see people say they prefer Bloodlines look over 4.
Yeah, I'm in that camp. I think that Bloodlines looks like cleaner. I think Super looks rough. It is a launch title for Super Nintendo, so I mean that makes sense to me. That the main character looks a little rough. There's definitely like interesting visual elements happening in Super that I appreciate, but from like I don't know what perspective, but like maybe the foreground background perspective, I think that Bloodlines looks better.
Bloodlines is a lot easier to read. Castlevania 4 has a lot of stuff. The sprite kind of blends in. The backgrounds are really not busy, but they're kind of hard to not justify, but I see what you're saying is what I'm saying. Because I remember, because Super Castlevania 4 was when I got my Super Nintendo, I had Mario World, then I got ActRaiser and Super Castlevania 4, so it holds a special place in my heart. It's probably one of my favorites. But going back to it and playing it, it doesn't look... usually, like, this game still looks as good as I remember. Super Castlevania 4 still looks good, but I remember it looking a lot more visually pleasing than it does.
I think when it comes to NES, I want to say that this is the best, and it is for some reasons, but I think I agree with you that I don't know that it's as feasible to do like whip only run or knife only run. People do it, but my God, like that is far more difficult than being able to use the holy water, and then that's basically all you have, that and loop 2, you know, and I haven't even messed with loop 2 at this point.
So that's something you do once you do loop 2 and you want to do more of the game. That's something you can do if you want, like a leather whip only run. Fighting death was the hard part on that because like your leather whip does so little damage, and he has all the size going everywhere. But yeah, I think if this is your favorite, I think that's a great choice. This game's still amazing to this day. I mean, it's just a feel to it. Once you get good at this game, you can plow through it like you're doing in even an hour in some is not a lot of time to play a game for.
No.
I mean, it's still a lot, but nowadays with games being, you buy a new game, you got to set aside, a schedule to play it and beat it. So they're like 50, 60 hours now, and they retire a commitment. This only requires commitment once you get good at it, is like an hour and a half.
And it's so iconic, and I think it's like a trial, right? It's like a what do you call it? Like kind of your entry
like
fee
it's a staple. It's a staple NES game. I'd say if you were to list NES games that you should play or at least try, Super Mario Brothers, Castlevania. Let's see, I put a Dragon Quest in there. Will be another one.
Mr. NES here.
I'm trying to keep Ninja. I was trying to probably a Mega Man.
Okay.
I was trying to keep it. But the NES had a lot of platformers, so it's hard not to pick multiple platformers. I'll say Mega Man and Ninja Gaiden. So if you just had those games,
similarities between Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, do you see any?
Yeah. I think Ninja Gaiden is sorry, I would say Gaiden. That's just how I instinctively always say Gaiden, even though I know it's Gaiden. And that's how it is to me. I don't care if it's wrong. That's how I grew up saying it. That's how I'll always say it.
You can make it as gay as you want. I don't care.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So I think what we talked about, I think Ninja Gaiden has that, but it's a much more. The enemies usually die. They respawn. So if you scroll the screen off, they respawn. So that game is all about moving forward and not stopping. Because if you stop in Ninja Gaiden, you're going to get respawning enemies. It's going to be a harder time for you. And this game, to an extent, but it's much more methodical. Both you got to learn the stages, but I think Ninja Gaiden is more memorization than Castlevania. But they're both very similar.
The first game, first Castlevania game, do you think I would like getting into Ninja Gaiden?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to be different. Like I said, it's more speed. Ninja Gaiden will have more moments. You know the feeling when you hit an enemy in Castlevania and fall in a pit. That happens in Ninja Gaiden a lot more because there's a lot of enemies that respawn. There's certain birds you got to know. Okay, this bird's coming. I got to wait. It swoops. I jump over it. Because if you just plow through your first attempt jumping like Mario, you're going to die a lot. Ninja Gaiden's, if you play it more methodical until you learn the stages like you did for Castlevania, I think you'll enjoy it. Now you're gonna probably get more frustrated at Ninja Gaiden than Castlevania, if I were to be honest. That's a game I had growing up as well. It's not that hard until you get to maybe 5, 6, and then it starts getting hard. The thing about that game, I will say, that will put you off is the whole game. When you start at the beginning of the stage. So if you die on 5-1, if you die at 5-3, you'll go back to the beginning of 5-3. Until the last level 6. So there's 3 blocks, 3 or 4 blocks of Ninja Gaiden 6th level. And it changes the rules on you. So if you die on 6-3 right before the boss, you go all the way back to 6-1. And 6-1 is by far the hardest level in the game. So until you get that 6-1 down, you're going to hate the game. But once you get that 6-1 down, it's not too bad. I still have problems with the boss on that game. But the good thing is, once you get to him, any form you beat, because he has 3 forms, he stays dead, so you don't have to fight that form again.
I can barely
So I will say
imagine
yes.
having to do 6-1 on Castlevania over and over every time I lose to Dracula.
So yeah, it's like that. It's like starting back. That's a good analogy. So when you get to Dracula, you die. You have to go right back to Dracula's beginning stage and fight him and go through it again. But Ninja Gaiden, you have to do that. But if you beat if you beat Dracula's first form in Ninja Gaiden, say you beat the first form in Ninja Gaiden, you only have to fight the second form then.
Okay.
So it's like doing the stage again, but beating Dracula's first form. When you get back again, you only have to fight the Curse of Man.
That's not bad. That's better.
But I think if you like Castlevania, at least give it a shot if you haven't tried it. I think you'll enjoy it. There are going to be some frustrations, but remember that goes with the time. Games nowadays, people expect just because you have a game, you should be able to beat it. That's not the case. You have to put a little bit of work into it. If you don't feel like doing that, that's okay. But a lot of these games require you to play them and get better at them, which a lot of people don't want to do now. And I understand completely if you don't want to do that, but to write off a game just because it's a little challenging and you don't put the time into it, I think is a problem that, not on the game. Now there's a point where the game can get, there's a lot of games on NES like that, like, Bart versus Space Mutants or stuff that's just unfair. I wouldn't call Ninja Gaiden or Castlevania unfair. They just require time to get better at them. And if you're willing to put in that time, which you are with Castlevania, I think you'd enjoy a Ninja Gaiden game.
Awesome. Are there other recommendations for a fan of NES Castlevania?
Well, the Ninja Gaidens. God, there's so many platformers on NES. It's so hard to. I mean, that system was just an NES, that platformer haven. Ninja Gaiden's the only one sticking out. I'm sure there's other ones that'll come into my head, but I mean, Mega Man's a completely different kind of series because you can refill your life with E-tanks on the later ones, and you can pick your stages and stuff. But yeah, I'd say go to Ninja Gaiden. If you like Castlevania, that's a good comparison.
Okay.
I'm just watching to beat the Frankenstein's monster, but yeah, that's it. Castlevania it's a great game. I'm happy that you're getting through it so fast and you're enjoying it so much because I think why I love NES games and Super Nintendo games so much is I think I mentioned this to you. Once you get a game that you like, you see yourself improving and you say, I want to play it bad, but play it a little bit better. Try to do it without dying or only using 1 continue instead of 2. And that's something, as you get better, you can plow through it in an hour and move on to doing laundry or something and feel like you accomplished something in your day,
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's kind of a nice little perk of this era of games and the quicker games is that feeling of like, I didn't just like rot away playing like infinite matches of, Halo deathmatch, or Team Slay or whatever, which I've had phases like that in my life where I was on Xbox Live, playing versus matches all night. But this is like, it's like a challenge. It's a fun little challenge.
Yeah. If you like seeing yourself improve at something and get good at something in life, and I'm not saying getting good at Castlevania is like a huge accomplishment compared to like getting a degree or getting married or losing weight or getting more muscular or whatever. I'm just saying it has that kind of feeling of improving yourself in something, even if it is something as meaningless as a video game.
Agreed. Okay, well,
yeah,
thanks, Mr. I Got Kings.
Oh, you're welcome anytime. When you do get it to under 30, I hope you at least give the second. You said you played the second loop a little bit.
A little bit. I saw the bats and I got scared.
Yeah, I've only beat that once. I hope what I was saying is I hope you move on to Castlevania 3 and give that another shot. I think much like this game, you'll start to appreciate it more once you get better at it.
How about 2?
I like 2. 2 is a completely different beast. It's more of an adventure game, which a lot of games on NES were doing at that time. You had games like that. You had Zelda 2. You had Legacy of the Wizard. You had Faxanadu. A lot of games. The early NES games were arcade games. Then you had platformers, and we were getting later adventure type games like Zelda, Adventure of Link, Battle of Olympus, those type of games. It has a cool sound and look to it. It's a game where growing up, there's a complaint on 2 where you don't know where to go, and that's true. But growing up, I didn't have a problem because it was so widespread knowledge of you have to kneel in the corner to have the tornado. It sounds weird now, but everybody who had played that game knew that you had to get the white crystal or blue crystal and kneel in a corner to have a tornado swipe you away. So it wasn't anything I complained about. But there are cryptic things in that game that you're pretty much going to have to look up. That one is the one that I think the game's pretty well explained, except for that part of the game where you have to kneel in the quarter. I think the trick, they tell you to kneel at Deborah's Cliff. So you go to it, but the problem is there's a lot of cliffs. So you don't know to kneel there. But there's some BS in that game, some cryptic stuff. But I do love that game. That's a game that's in my cousin had, and I have fondness for that game. The music, the sound of that game, just there's a level up system where you kill enemies and you level up and your health bar gets longer. There's different items you can buy. There's a shop. There's the inn. It's a church you rest at. There's a day and night cycle, and it's a kind of time. So if you want to beat it fast, you get the best ending. I've only gotten the one where Simon, I think, dies because I take so long. But once you get good at the game, you can try to get a fast ending. The bosses in the game are weak. You can, like, I think you only have to beat one of them, and that might be the big mask lady and Grim Reaper. I think those are your only bosses. I think you can just run past them. But yeah, I think it's not like 1 and 2, but if you're done with 1 and 3, but if you're done with 3 and if you're in an adventure mood and you've played, I'd say if you like Faxanadu, Battle of Olympus, Legacy of the Wizard, those type of games, I think that, and you haven't played Simon's Quest, I'd say give it a try.
Cool. Yeah, maybe I might just. We shall see. But I will definitely
it's
be
on
looking
here, right?
into those guides. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think with save states, the game, you can, that won't really help you with that game because the challenge of that game is not the platforming; it's the where do I go?
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Is it a fun game to get lost in?
That's an interesting question.
No.
I think so, but I can't remember. I gotta think. See, I'm projecting it in my. I don't want to say yes because upright way because I have history with that game. I think you'd appreciate it knowing what I just told you about it, and knowing what's coming up. I think so. I'll say yes, but to a point. If you know it's coming, and you're warned about it, then yes. But playing that game as a kid, I had no idea where to go except for. I never beat it. I knew about the Deborah Cliff. I could get past there, but I never knew what to do after that. But I'll say yes to a point.
To a point. Okay, that's fair. Yes, to a point.
I think, yeah. I'm trying to not to say, oh, you're just going to say it because you like NES games, but I'm trying to take my nostalgia away from the game and give it to somebody, truthfully. And I'd say, what I'll say is if you want an adventure type game, where you have to go to different places, get different weapons, get different items, play Castlevania 2.
Love that. All right, we are just closing up at about an hour here. I know I said I'd let you end it, but I think I'm going to end it. I'm getting hungry. But, Mr. I Got Kings, final thoughts on NES Castlevania?
Great game, especially for when it came out in 86 in Japan. I think we got it a little later, 87 or something. I forget when. Maybe you can correct me on that. But great game. One as a kid that stuck out to me, and still I play to this day. I'll sell games, but the NES and Castlevania won't be one of them, that's for sure. The games that are most dear to me are the ones I replay and very replayable, and Castlevania is one of those games.
Agreed. one day when I get it for the NES, I still play on the Anniversary Collection. It will definitely be a staple in my collection as well.
Nice. I hope you do get it. I'll keep an eye on it, too. There's a game shop near me. If I see it for a good price, you might have a little package coming your way.
Love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. My
Thanks for having
pleasure.
me on.
As always, I Got Kings here on the YouTube, on the Twitch, everywhere.
Not everywhere, but just on Twitch usually. I do post on YouTube, but thanks again for having me on. It was a pleasure. Anytime you want to do Castlevania 3, I hope you have me on again. I love that game as I love this game, and I wish you luck in getting your 30-minute Castlevania run.
Thank you. Much obliged. You will be there to help me through Castlevania 3. Maybe I'll stream it
Yes.
on the new channel. We'll see. Anyways,
That'd be awesome.
That's an
I
hour.
love that.
Toodaloo. Thank you, Mr. I Got Kings, and talk to you soon.
You're welcome.